HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All these three languages are server client-side scripting languages. I'm explaining later what does it mean. But now today the PHP and MySQL later on we will study. These two components are server-side scripting. So what does this mean? What is meant by client-side scripting and what is meant by server-side scripting? Actually, any page that when we are displaying, if it is a static information, like until now, whatever example that we were running, it was only composed of HTML code, CSS code, and JavaScript code. So these three languages can be interpreted and the code can be rendered by the browser itself. So browser doesn't need any extra software. Everything which is needed uh, is available in the browser. And the browser is already installed on each client computer, even in our mobiles also nowadays. So the the browser render all the component of HTML, JavaScript, PHP. So the client by itself is completely capable, completely have all the components to display the page. No need of any server. Okay. Later on, I will explain and see what does server mean and how it works. So, meaning to say, in a client side in a client side scripting languages, the informations are static. It cannot it by static I mean that if you visit the page, you will get the same information, and if I visit the same page, I will get also the same information that you already got. If anybody else visit the page, everyone will have the same information. It may be changed a bit in a presentation style because of the responsiveness, because of the CSS, and the Bootstrap and all those front end frameworks. It may be a bit different from layout point of view, but from content point of view, all the web pages will be same because it is static, it is client-side scripting language. Okay. On the other side, we have server-side scripting language. Server-side scripting language means that actually the browser by itself is not able to execute and to compile all the code that is needed for server-side scripting language. Why? Because in a server-side scripting, a new components, new layers come in, which is a database, and some server-side programming language, which need some server, some extra software, which will be compiled, and by compilation I mean that when the server-side language is compiled, it is converted to HTML from any other language. Let's suppose maybe PHP or maybe Python or maybe ASP. There are many server-side languages. So whatever language you will use, when the server compile it and send back to the client, actually the client will only receive HTML. Okay, so the server-side language is converted, is changed by the server to HTML, and it also had one database component. So database component and a language is capable to communicate with databases, and on the basis of this database interaction, a dynamic informations will be generated. And the best and the most easy example is the Google search. Okay, when we open simple Google page, when we type something, actually whatever you type, okay, maybe the same word that I type and Google search and the same word that you type on your computer and your mobile, maybe we will have different. That in a client side scripting, the browser can handle everything. Why? Because the contents are static. By static, I mean the contents are not changing. Whatever we type, it is hard coded typing there. Okay, it is not changing. Whatever styling are applied, the styles are constant. It is not changing. The JavaScript is the same. It is not changing. So there are three components: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in client side scripting. And this is why all these three are called client-side scripting languages. Okay, so the contents are static, it is not changing, and the browser is capable of displaying all these contents. Okay, so only client can handle it. Client doesn't need any extra software to help for rendering, for converting, for interpreting any code. But on the other hand, on the server side, their databases comes in, and if database come in, so database are such a component which can store a lot of information, and then the database can provide and respond different information to different queries. Okay, so this is why the contents are dynamic. It may be changed. So for this dynamic behavior, we need such a language which could talk to a database and then bring information to us, and then should be capable to display the information on a web page. And we know that our web page only can display HTML. Okay, so there should be a translation system. Okay, so we need a software which is called server. Okay, so this server will translate the server side language, and the result from databases, all these things will be converted to HTML, normal HTML. Now when it is converted to normal HTML, then browser can handle. So these are the main differences between client-side scripting and server-side scripting. In a bulleted form, if we want to say, so for client server side scripting, we don't need any server. One thing, there is no databases included. On the other side, in server side scripting, we need some server, and the database is included, and some server side extra language will be involved. Okay, and so the pages will be dynamic on server side, and on the client side the pages will be static. Now we will move on to server side scripting, and for server side scripting there are different languages, different platforms. Okay, one very emerging and very not emerging, actually it is very established from very long time, is the Microsoft platform. In Microsoft platform, the first language was AS, okay, but ASP need a server which is called IIS, okay, Internet Information Server, and that is designed by Microsoft. Okay, so meaning to say you will have to the Microsoft product, and you know Microsoft product, mostly Microsoft products are not free, but basically ASP is free. Okay, when you install Visual Studio, you can run all these things in free. There is no issue. Another platform is Python. You can use different Python frameworks, and you can run and you can design websites, server-side scripting. There are several frameworks based on Python language. That is also available. But our program, our course is based on PHP. Okay, so we will cover PHP, why PHP, and what are the benefits, Actually, PHP is very nice, very easy, open source, okay, and free, uh, free, open source, and cross platform. It can, by cross platform, I mean that the same coding can display on Windows based and Linux and Mac operating system, even on mobiles operating system. So PHP is very user friendly and cross platform and easy. Therefore, many people in the world, they are preferring PHP while uh, designing websites. Okay, so let's start. So what is a PHP? Okay, so as I told you that PHP is a server-side scripting language and it is a powerful tool for making dynamic and interactive web pages. By dynamic means that it actually can talk to a database. It can store information from a database. It can read information from a database. This is why the information will be dynamic. Okay, and PHP is widely used. It is free and efficient alternative to its competitors such as Microsoft ASP, as I told you. Okay, currently PHP 7 is the latest stable release, and I think 8 version is in the alpha, and maybe at the kernel very soon we will get. Okay, so PHP is amazing and popular language. It is powerful enough to be at the core of biggest blogging system like WordPress. You see, millions of people are using WordPress, and the WordPress language is basically PHP. Okay, Facebook, the largest social network, Facebook, it is based on PHP. Okay, and it is also easy enough to be a beginner first server-side language. Like you have never, I think maybe you have studied already Python, but Python for normal Python and Python for web, there is a big differences. Okay, so like you, maybe PHP will be your first server-side scripting language. And I really like PHP is very nice. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. So let's see, let's go ahead. Okay, so PHP file. So PHP file contain what? Normally when we are writing PHP code, like you see in HTML, HTML is what? HTML are different tags, okay? The whole page is composed of tags, and each tag is responsible for different functionality. And another extra things we apply over the HTML tags are CSSs and HTML codes to increase the interactivity and the layout. So PHP file is also contain maybe text, normal text, and even HTML text. HTML text. The HTML text can be embedded inside PHP code. It can embed CSS. It can embed JavaScript and PHP code. So you see, PHP code is very much compatible with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can use pure PHP code. You can mix with HTML. You can mix with CSS. You can mix with JavaScript and even simple code, simple text also. So PHP code will be executed on a server. Later on, I will show you which server we will use and how it works. And the result is returned to the browser as a plain HTML. As I told you, on the server side, there will be a server which will use PHP code, okay? But the server, when respond to the client, then before sending data to the client, all the coding and the content will be converted to HTML tags. And the content will be inside the HTML tag. So when everything is converted to HTML, then browser can handle with it. And when we are saving the PHP file, its extension will be .php. Like in case of HTML was .html or HTML. In case of JavaScript was .js. In case of CSS was .css. So in case of PHP will be a PHP. Okay, so PHP can generate dynamic pages. Uh, uh, PHP can create, you see, create, not the point. The keywords create and can open, can read, can write, can delete, and close file. You see, it's a server-side language. It can create permanent data, okay? And permanent data are stored on files and in databases, two things, files or databases. Okay, and these files or databases will be saved on the server. Okay, so you see it can create file, it can read file, it can open file, it can delete file, and it can write data to a database, it can read from database, it can delete from a database. So all these are like information storage, creation, deletion, updation in a permanent way. Okay, so PHP can collect data, form data. Okay, most of the times we are designing HTML form, the user name, password, blah blah blah. All the so the PHP is the only language to collect all these information and later on process for some purpose. So I will show you how to do that. And PHP can send and receive cookies. Maybe you already know, we will study that in detail also. But cookie is what? Cookie is a tiny file. A tiny file, tiny means that it will be just in KB. Okay, maybe 1 KB or 2 KB or 3 KB. But this tiny file stores some basic information. Sometime maybe username and password. Sometime maybe the session data. We will study about it. What session means. Okay, the username or the user profile, some basic information. So very tiny information we can store there. And what is that? It is how this tiny file the server create on your local client machine, on your client computer. Okay, so the cookies are mostly created on the client computer, but who creates? The server creates, and server creates with the help of server side language, meaning to say PHP can do that. Okay, so we will study in detail. So PHP can add, delete, modify data in your database, as I told you. Okay, PHP can be used to control user access. User access means that they're always in a websites and always in a different system. There are different type of users. Okay, and this is a very compulsory component of every website, and you will get in your group assignment and in maybe during exams also. But I know in your group assignment is already there. So user access means that, let's suppose ELIP. So if you look at the ELIP, so lecturers have different type of access. Okay, students have different type of access. But you see, there is another category which are the admin. Okay, admin people. So the administrators are the calm people, or maybe serious people. So who can modify the coding and who can modify our privileges and your privileges. So you see the super admin, and then the second layer which are lecturers, and then the third layer which are students. So there are different layers of users which have limited access, which have different privileges. So you can only control this thing through a scripting, so server side language. Okay, server side language like a PHP, the rest of ASP, Python, and any other. There are many other languages also. Okay, so and PHP can encrypt data. Encrypt I know. I hope that you know what is encryption. Encryption is like some hiding techniques. So the data will, when it is stored in such a way that if let's suppose someone get also, it is not human readable. Okay, it converts into a such format that human can't understand what is it. So it means encryption and decryption. There are different algorithms used for that to encrypt the data, and later on if you want to see by read by humans, then you will have to decrypt. So this encryption and decryption facilities are there in PHP. So you see, look at the power of server-side languages. How much great power are there as compared to simple HTML or simple JavaScript or CSS. Okay, so then why PHP? PHP runs on various platforms, as I told you, Windows, all this. And PHP is compatible with almost all servers used today. For example, you see, these are the servers, Apache and IIS. Okay, these are the most common two servers which are used. So I will explain to you. Apache is cross-platform, and it is free, open source. We will use Apache, and IIS is actually Microsoft provided, so it is under Microsoft, and IIS is built in every window. When you install window, actually IIS is there, but we have not activated yet. So there is a way how to activate, but we will not use IIS. Okay, we will use Apache. I will show you how to do all these things. So PHP supports wide range of databases. Wide range of databases means that there are several type of databases. Like the very simple one is Microsoft Access. Okay, Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, many other databases. Okay, a lot of databases there are. Okay, MongoDB and blah blah. Hundreds and thousands of databases are there, and actually PHP support on many of them. Okay, almost every database PHP can support. What does it mean? Actually, it is not. It is a quite technical term. Support different languages. It means that actually PHP has the software. PHP has the functionality, and the coding is there. How to connect to different databases, and how to read from and how to write the coding. So to connect to different databases, it's a quite powerful aspect of any language. So PHP is free, and we can from here. Okay, but we will not only download simply PHP. I will show you how to download the whole package. Okay, and PHP is easy to learn and runs efficiently on server side. It's quite faster and efficient. So is actually I like PHP. I love PHP. Is the best one. Okay, now we will go to the installation side. But before installation, if you have any confusion, any question, if we want to install a PHP, we will use three combinations. Okay, note the point. Don't confuse. We will use a language, a server-side language, which is called PHP. Number one component. Number two, we will use a server. Okay, a server which will convert the PHP code to HTML. Actually, server is a very big software. Its only responsibility is not conversion from PHP to HTML. No, actually it is a server, and like for example, the Google, where you just imagine that how many millions of people now, right now, in this current second, will be using. So server is such a thing that actually it can accept a request from millions, hundreds and thousands of users at the same time, and at the same time the server can respond to everyone, okay, according to their query. So server is not only simply converting software from PHP to HTML. No, server has many functionalities. Okay, like creating of users, maintaining of users, all this stuff, linking with database. Slowly we will discover. Okay, so we need two components, three components: PHP and server. The server will be Apache. Okay, Apache. And third component will be database, and the database we will use MySQL. Okay, MySQL. So three components: PHP as a language, MySQL as a database, and Apache as a server. Okay, so all these three are combined in one package which is called XAMPP. Okay, XAMPP server. Okay, and you can download from this link apachefriends.org. This is the organization that the developers from the worldwide they are maintaining, keep maintaining these three things: the PHP, MySQL, and Apache. Okay, and there is a lot of coding, a lot of information. If you just Google anything about PHP that you don't know, you will get a lot of information. So meaning to say, there is like a Stack Overflow and many other tutorials are there. Okay, so if you copy this link, okay, let me copy this link and paste in a browser, you will get this one. Okay, so you see this one XAMPP. Okay, you see, if you read, XAMPP is an easy to install Apache distribution containing, you see, containing what? MariaDB. You see, MariaDB is another database. PHP is a server-side language. Perl is another language, but we will not study that one. Okay, it contains MariaDB also, it contains PHP also, it contains what is called Apache server, okay, and MySQL. So all these are already there. So you see these are the different versions, but you will have to download according to your computer. For example, 64-bit, okay, and 64-bit different version. Yeah, if you see here, I think there is no 32-bit. This is for Linux, this is for Mac, okay. So you see all these. Actually, it is like this. You see, don't think like this that when you install Windows 1, it will not work on the other platform. No, it will work. This is just the installation package that when you are installing, then you need what type of package to be installed. Okay. After installation, when you design a website, okay, in Windows platform, it can run on Mac, it can run on Linux, anyway. Okay, so you will have to download according to like this. So once you download, okay, once you download, you will get a software like this. XAMPP, yeah, you see this one, XAMPP, like this. So simply double click, installation will start. When installation start, it will install the three components I am again explaining to you. The PHP, MySQL is the server, the PHP is the language, okay, and the Apache server. Sorry, MySQL is the database, okay, the database, and Apache is the server, and PHP is the language. Okay, so it give me some warning message. Maybe if you get this warning message also, just ignore it, because this is what in our computer we have the user access control option is activated there. And the user access control is what? Whenever we want to delete something, if there is a message. Are you sure you want to delete? We want to open something, we get a message. So there is a user control access. So it is because of that it is activated there. Later on, if the PHP or the server is interacting with file or something, maybe there will be some issue. So, but most of the time you just ignore it. Okay, once you ignore this one, the setup will start. Just click next. No need to change anything. Okay, so I don't want to install because I have already installed. This is 7.3, and the down is oh, PHP add is already there. As I told you, you see, PHP add. Download the latest one. Everybody download the latest one. In case of Windows, yeah, you see PHP 8 is there. Wow. Okay, and in case of Mac also, download the latest one. If you click next, let me just show you. Yeah, all the options, just leave it, no problem. Next one, yeah, you see the same, no issue. It gave me a message that there is a folder. So you see, I have installed. This is why.